I love it. It's okay. I'm okay with that. Trust me. All right, here we go. Letter grades.
Lots of content for you to stretch there on the Earnestly Speaking YouTube channel. EJ Christian YouTube,
YouTube
whatever.
channel. Yeah, my
That
channel. Yeah,
fucking
my channel.
shit.
All my
Whatever it
content's
is.
there. Thank you for the plug. Ernest Christian. YouTube.com/Ernest Christian on
What's
YouTube.
your TikTok again? If it's still around, you'll find
Ernest
it
Christian.
there.
It's still there. Well, Trump said ask for a stay until Inauguration Day. So
Here we
hopefully
go.
we'll keep it. And I've been doing content there lately, also too. Not just with the shows, but also last couple of days I've been doing like solo, like just like I actually figured out how to use using how to use content TikTok rather, like the way it's supposed to be used. Like it's kind of weird actually. But I'm officially a TikToker, I guess.
We'll take that off air.
Instead of peeling off clips of the shows, I'm actually creating original content now. On there, which is actually
well, and
cool.
they expand to lead, but like this isn't a content creator show. I don't want to touch that right now. I do that every fucking day.
But it could be if you wanted to, of course. But like I said, it's just open conversation.
Yeah, that's it. We just do another time. I do that every day. I'm here to talk about fun shit, which
that's right.
is a hell of a note that me talking about part of my goddamn IRA is fun.
Right.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old, bitch.
All right, so here we go. We're going to go alphabetical order of the teams that missed the playoffs this year. So start with A, and of course, A starts with the Arizona Cardinals, who finished the year 8-9.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is a hard one to grade, and I think part of the problem is I'm one of the ones that did not match the expectations that they would blow out of the gate. I never felt like they were going to be bad, but they were going to struggle, and they didn't. One could argue they should have won the division, even.
Yes.
Put me at a C. And you've seen this happen before, back in the day when your Giants, allegedly. I said allegedly. Relax.
I was saying we're starting the year off right now. We're getting the right teams now.
Well, no, the reason why I say your Giants is because you have so many fucking teams. It's so hard to keep track of them. So if I don't remember, I just say your whatevers, right, Jaworski? Your Eagles, for example, are in the playoffs.
Calm that shit down, bro. Hope they get crushed this weekend.
Yeah, your Cowboys were fucking terrible this year. Let me tell you. Anyways,
calm down. My Commanders though.
Your Red Tails. Your Red Tails were pretty good, but we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Yes.
By the way, you want to talk about your Red Tails? 12 o'clock today, Tuesday. Student of the Game, Huddle Up, Sertova Media, social media, and YouTube outlets will be ending me and Candy Waller, Seawall of Seawall Sports and Bowie TV, Madam President herself, will be talking up the Red Tails. She's a credentialed member of the media there, so she does a little bit of something about that. Anyway,
I'm going to say Carrie Champion for a second.
I don't know who that is, but I'm willing to look.
Anyways,
really?
She used to host First Take way back in the day.
Bro, you know I don't watch fucking First Take. Stop.
Back in the day, I'm talking about way back in the day, like over 10 years ago.
I don't watch First Take.
Okay.
Why would I subject myself to that silliness? Okay. I mean, granted, it's well before the day when Kendrick Perkins thought picking Jokic as an MVP was racist with his dumb ass.
Yeah, what a dumb fucking take.
Anyways, we'll get into Fox later, I'm sure. Well, that's ESPN. Who fucking
That's ESPN. Yeah.
Friends don't let friends watch ESPN, Ernest Christian.
Sports
media.
Know this. Sports media in general.
Anyways, so yeah, the Cardinals, I'm going to put it a C. Well, we'll give them C+. If you have them higher, I'm not mad at you either. I'm really just confused about what to do with them. That's just kind of where it sits.
Well, we all thought they'd be a bottom of the barrel team this year certainly in the NFC West. I have a C as well, for the record.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I thought, look, disappointing finish, because remember, they went to the bye week, I think, in late November, 6-4, I think it was, and they were leading division, and it was surging. And then after the bye week, they just fell apart.
That trail off murdered them, because I think we graded them much higher mid-season.
I think we gave them a B, maybe close to A- maybe at one point.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And at the time, you would think that they deserved it, obviously.
But again, we're grading them based on what we've seen at the time, and obviously we didn't plan for this to happen. And the division was still in flux because Seattle, San Francisco, and the Rams were still neck and neck at the 500, but the Cardinals seemed to be the one team that was on the surge.
I'll put it this way: me saying C has them pretty high, despite the fact they're a missed opportunity. You know how I feel about missed opportunities, bro.
Where are you on Kyler Murray now?
You can't move off him.
I agree.
I don't think he's a complete anchor that prevents success like I may with other quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like people want to try to tell me Trevor Lawrence allegedly is. By the way, spoiler alert, he's not. I feel like Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence have similar issues in that they are guys that are good, but strangle-held by franchises to an extent.
Yeah.
More so Trevor than Kyler, obviously. But
yeah, of course.
Anyways.
Yeah, I want to see him in Arizona. And I think Kyler Murray is also definitely a top 16 quarterback in the league. I think we can safely say that now at this point. Now, look, they have talent on that team, and I don't know the cap situation if they have money to spend on free agents. But I would say this is a team. There's definitely a team to watch in the offseason because I think
sure that's the understatement of the century here.
Because the West is in flux right now. Like even though the Rams are still pretty decent, Stafford might retire this year. Who knows? And if that happens, that changes things. San Francisco's in flux.
Boy, yeah, an NFC West power vacuum is an interesting concept, isn't it? Because with Brock Purdy's pending question about whether to pay him and all that,
we'll get there in a second. We'll have to get there in a second with that one. But I would say Arizona might be the team to watch in the offseason in that division because if things play out in a certain way for the rest of the division, they could be looked at as a possible favorite next year. Just based on as you said, the power vacuum going forward. So, all right.
Yeah.
Next team here, staying in the A's, the Atlanta Falcons, who are 8-9.
Are you effing kidding me? All right. I warned you. We as teachers said, don't do this on the test, and you did it anyway. You went and got Kirk Coupons. You've now established he was a mistake. You fucked that up. Period. Michael Penix came in, did his job. As well as he could with limited starting experience. Keep in mind, I said starting experience, right?
Yeah.
He comes out, leads an offense that puts up 38 points in week 18, and you lose to the Carolina Panthers because the Falcons' tradition of shit defense comes back, and you give up 44 points to Bryce fucking Young. What are we doing, guys? Okay, yeah. I can't tolerate a 4-game losing streak, even though it did include 3 playoff teams in that run, right? Yeah. They needed that Commanders game, bottom line.
Yeah.
Right.
And they almost won the game. They missed field goal. So.
Yeah. I mean, technically, they needed both the Commanders game and the punchline's this, though, EJ Christian. You started the year strong. I picked the Falcons as an 11-win team.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah, and there would only be a 1-game difference between the Bucks and the Falcons either way. And I was right about that part, that it would be a close race. But when you beat the Bucks twice and you get the tie break and you can't even cement that, no, that's unacceptable. The fall off was awful.
Yeah.
And, credit to Michael Penix for doing the best he could. But once Coupons failed to deliver playing his former team, I think the writing was already on the wall. I mean, shit, you beat the Raiders 15-9. The Jags gave them a harder time than that. Shit.
Yeah, and Atlanta for us was they were the default. Okay, well, the South sucks. They didn't win it because they had the best pieces. Kirk Cousins. Who would have thought that the fall off of that one when it was as bad as it was?
I think we felt like the defense was going to improve more than it did, and it's
agreed. Yeah. I gave him D+ also. I gave him D+. For the same reason, the massive disappointment. They pulled the trigger on Cousins or on Penix rather a little bit late. I think Penix played well as the season progressed, and had they pulled the trigger on that one, maybe say even 2 weeks earlier, maybe they're in the playoffs. Maybe, but. Yeah, D+ for me. What a disappointment for the Falcons. I mean, I will say this much, though, going to next year, though, I do feel better about them because of the Penix move, knowing how mature he is and how good he looked in short notice. I think going to camp, knowing that he's a quarterback going forward. But look, Kyle, my brain is still here. My brain is still in March. Why are we signing Cousins and then we go Penix in April? Now, granted, in hindsight, it was the right move after you fucked up. You fixed your fuck up a month later by drafting Penix because.
Did you though?
Well,
did you though?
Better they did.
In the division that's crap, where there's a power vacuum and all you have to do is get past Baker Mayfield. No, you didn't fix it. If fixing it is getting to the goddamn playoffs.
The worst part would have been if they signed Cousins, they did, and then not take Penix. Now what?
No,
You don't
because
have
that
anybody.
money would have been allocated to other resources that would have gotten them past it.
What are you
It would have
saying
been
that?
allocated to augmenting the defense, which the Bucks actually have, mind you, and make them a more balanced and bigger threat.
No, we're agreeing on the fact that the Cousins signing was a mistake. We're agreeing on that. The
No,
money, the
no.
money.
What your statement was, they fixed the fuck up by Penix. No, they didn't, because that money would have gone towards resources that could have gotten them. They could have found
Okay.
somebody that could have gotten them the game necessary to do what they needed to do.
You mean Penix's salary? You mean Penix's salary, in other words?
No, I mean the draft pick.
Okay. Well, okay. I get it. Yeah, but still, like I said, as bad as that was, imagine they didn't, draft Penix, then they've been a fucking because I think the problem is even the defense got fixed with that piece. Cousins was so bad at the end of the year that.
That's a fair point. I mean, 15 points against the Falcons. The Jags did. I mentioned like the Jags performed better, even though they lost to the Raiders. Like they still put up a bigger fight, was what I said. Yeah. And the reason why the Raiders won that game is because the Jags turned the ball over twice.
And it never got better for them, man. It never got better for the Falcons. Until Pettis got in the lineup anyway. So anyway, let's get to the C's now. Carolina Panthers, end of the year, 5-12.
I mean, it's a C. They did what exactly that. Well, I might even say a C plus because they finished stronger, right? They did what we expected them to do, and maybe a C minus because you want to penalize mediocrity. I'm down with that. I'm not going to give them a D. They finished too strong for that. So,
oh no, they got a B minus for me.
Jesus Christ! Wait, how the fuck do you B minus? How do you B minus a 5-win team? Jesus, ain't shit.
This is why. Because at least I thought they'd be, if not the second worst team in football this year. There was no signing they made last offseason that made me believe that they can climb from a 2-win team last year. Okay. Yeah. Then things got off the rails early for them. Bryce Young gets benched week 3, week 4. We're thinking now his career's over. We were doing podcasts saying that early in on this show that Bryce Young's career could be over because we saw no upside to this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Dalton gets hurt. Young is back in because by default, got to put somebody in there. And Bryce Young, for the last 2 months, looked like a capable quarterback.
Yeah.
There were even some of the games they lost to the Chiefs, for example. There's some close losses there that if those are wins, I guess the Saints too also. Now they're a 7-win team now. And now we're looking at this team like, oh, this could be next year, maybe. Who knows? But Bryce Young looked like a capable quarterback at the end of the year. To the point where now that benching may have saved his career, honestly. Because now all of a sudden
Carolina, what was it? Rich Eisen called it a sabbatical.
Right.
And that works. So much so that even on Rich Eisen's show, he talked about how Bryce Young adopted the term sabbatical for his benching. So
and that's a great term. I love Rich Eisen for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best to do it.
Absolutely. But between the Bryce Young benching and him coming back to sabbatical and him coming back and improving, and the team and their competitive spirit, like for what they were
finding the competitive spirit,
absolutely. What they were last year, what they were coming to the year, and then what they were after the slow start. I gotta give them some credit. I mean, if you're gonna go C plus, fine.
But B plus, Jesus Christ.
No, B. I said B minus. I said B minus. B minus.
Okay, sure. Okay, B at all. Jesus Christ.
They have arguably the worst roster in football right now. And if I don't get 5 wins, I think it's a miracle, honestly. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the Pats and the Raiders may enter the chat, but that's
those are the 2 teams you're considering on that one as well too. So B minus for me. All right, Chicago Bears 5-12.
C minus. I can't go full D. I know that's what she said.
Yeah,
I can't go full D. No, I'll say D. I don't know if there's such a thing as a D plus. Maybe I'll say that.
It's our show.
Yeah, right. That's true. We are holding all the doors. We are guarding all the doors. We are holding all the keys.
Yeah, make it.
But obviously everything's a disappointment. Get some fucking protection for the love of Christ. How long have we been saying this? They have too many good weapons to be only a 5-win team. That's why I lowered to D. It's very simple for me. Granted, and the reason why I'm slow to assign the D is Jesus H. Christ, that division is insane.
It is. However, I had to go full F here. This is a fucking failure.
The full F.
The full F. Full failure.
Okay.
Caleb Williams. I don't want to blame him necessarily. Obviously, he did not meet the expectations of what a first number 1 pick was to mean. I don't think.
Were those expectations reasonable?
Well, people look at this kid as a generational quarterback. They were saying, "Oh,
is that reasonable?"
Well, it depends who you talk to. I mean, you may think so.
I'm asking you, motherfucker. What?
I mean, some of it was. Some of it was really rookie mistakes and him not. Look, he wasn't horrible in the way that people were saying, "Oh, this guy's done." And
right, it wasn't horrible as the people that point out his painted fingernails.
Right, there's all overblown because there were moments this year where he looked like a good quarterback. And once after the first couple of weeks, when things slowed down and he started to actually assess the field, and by the way, this is when they were winning the games for the record.
Yeah,
when they're 4-2, about to go 5-2, until the Hail Mary happened. And that, so that's one of it. But the thing is too, also, bro, I had to win the playoffs. I had to win the playoffs here. Okay,
that's a you problem
because of the roster. Because the roster by name, Keenan Allen and Dunze drafted by Washington, and they had players there that, okay, you look at the NFC. Now, granted,
you can't name a single offensive lineman, though. You can't.
Right. And, well, again, that's where we got thrown off, of course. No, that's your field, buddy. Come on, I admit that. It's your field. Come on.
They had the same problem that the Tennessee Titans did, who I'm sure we'll be talking about later. They brought in all this talent to support, and then they couldn't deliver. A lot of it was issues.
So my thing is this, is that you look at the NFC at the time coming into the year. Obviously, we know now in hindsight. There was space. We saw, okay, well, the Bears could certainly at least flirt in a wild card spot.
I did say they would compete. I did say that.
And to our credit, they were actually.
We also did. And this is the reason why I can't go after the Bears, though. We didn't expect two fucking 14-win teams to be battling for the goddamn North in Week 18.
Yeah,
that was not in the cards.
No, what we saw, and certainly we knew. And here's the funny thing too, also about the North. We knew the North would be good this year, really good this year. We got the teams wrong. Like hold on.
Right there.
I had the Vikings on the bottom of the barrel, not the Bears.
Which I get it. I get all of that. What I'm telling you is, we did not expect 3 teams from this division. We did not expect 28 wins. In Week 18, yeah, I know, 10 green toes down. Shut the fuck up.
I had 3 teams. I had Bears,
that's why I said
and
I made 10 green toes down comment. It's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, shit, I got to look back at mine. Maybe I did.
I did. You did. I think you did have. Did you pick the Bears in the playoffs? Didn't you?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I talked about it. I don't think
you don't take your fucking notes.
No, listen, that's back in September. I need to go back and look to do it. Yeah.
Clip this next week's podcast. We do again. We'll address that if you did do that or not. I want to
clip this. This is your show.
Okay, true.
No, and you're right. I know I flirted with the Bears, but what killed it overall was, man, listen, the Lions doing Lions things. Everybody saw that coming. I don't think I thought the Packers would be as good as they did. Yeah. We know none of us had the Vikings doing what they did. And I think that needs to be accounted for. It's why I struggle with attacking them that way. I can make an argument that the Bears, were they in the AFC South, could win that division.
And even then, too, also, Kyle, through 7 weeks, they're 4-2. And if the Hail Mary don't happen in Washington, they're 5-2. So, again, what we kind of saw early here was like, oh, it was percolating that way, and then they fell apart. By the way, you sent that meme, the thing on the Bears losing streak, the Christmas carols.
Listen, I
greatest guy's name. The greatest thing ever, dude.
He's got so much Bears like song parody.
The Bears.
Yeah, he's great, and I'm really pissed I don't remember his name right now. Yeah. But I am not a Bears fan. I still subscribe.
You know what?
It's a whole thing.
If I can find it on here while we're recording, I'll play it. That whole thing. That's so great. Anyway, the
You
Cincinnati
can do it in
Bengals.
post. It's fine.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals. 9-8.
You know, with all the injury bullshit and their defense being as disappointing as it was, they were the biggest disappointment come midseason, and for them to even be in a position to be knocked out of the playoffs because the Broncos did what they did is insane. I'm gonna go B.
Whoa.
Call it B plus, because Joey Burr, it just continues to show how amazing he is. And listen, if he led his team in rushing, I made the same argument for him that I did for Russell Carrington Wilson in 2017, right?
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Wow, B. I'm shocked.
How the fuck are you shocked?
I'm
Bro,
shocked.
you gave a team a B that had 5 wins, and you're shocked that I give a team with a winning record a B.
I like the we opposite ends of this. I'm glad we don't agree on a lot of these things. It's awesome. I want D plus. D plus.
You're out of your fucking gourd. Mikey Byrne is going to go, listen, the guy who's a fan of Coastal just might find you and go Postal. And he lives close to you. You need to watch that shit.
Mikey Byrne will be okay. He'll get over it. Like everything else. He'll get over it.
He's used to bad takes from you.
I've been,
right.
Exactly. I've been shooting takes for years now. You just get over it. It's part of the brand, right? No.
Shout to Mikey Byrne.
Yes, that's right. D plus though, because at the same time, end of the day, the Bengals to me are the way I look at the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs this year. They don't team I look at the Lions and the Eagles. They are the upper, because of Joey Burr, because of the weapons they have, and Joe Burrow was healthy this year for the record. I think he played all 17 games this year.
He didn't go into the season healthy, and he may not have missed games, but he was not 100%.
Right, but he was healthy.
No, you're getting that wrong. He's not healthy. He just because someone doesn't miss games doesn't. TJ Watt was nicked up, and Derrick Henry could run the ball better the week they played. The week it was Steelers Ravens, that impacted that game. TJ Watt didn't miss games, but he was not healthy for some of the time. There is a difference, and that matters when you're Joey effing Burr.
I was almost right though. I was a Kansas City meaningless game away from them making the playoffs, because had that game, it had
that's the one you pick.
No, well, I mean they lost 6. No, I'm saying the Chiefs Broncos game on week 18. If that game meant something to the Chiefs and they play the starters and actually probably wouldn't try to win that game, and Broncos lose, the Bengals are in the playoffs.
In no universe do the Chiefs play their starters in that game.
Yeah, unless they needed the game.
That's my point. They didn't.
They need the game.
There's no universe.
Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, though, 6 losses this year by 1 score. Look, Joe Burrow is a boss. I mean, I definitely concede the argument for MVP. I'm not going to give it to him. I understand why people won't do it.
I don't think anybody really argues with him being the most valuable player on the team. But it's hard to do it.
But if you're going to tell me put him on a top 5 list right now of MVP candidates, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Lists of games where the Bengals could have saved themselves and not relied on the Chiefs. Are you ready?
Patriots.
Week 1, Patriots. Bingo.
Must win game. See, I told you. Must win. Week 1. Fuck you.
Shut the fuck up. That's not what that means.
I know.
Yeah, I know. This is why I also had to tell you to shut the fuck up on your own show. Chiefs 26-25, week 2.
That's the first game.
Jalen Daniels beats him in a shootout as a rookie, 38-33.
Defense sucked on Monday Football.
Well, they sucked throughout the season, let's be clear.
But that game was just out.
Yeah. Ravens beat them by a field goal, 41-38.
And that was a game where they fumbled the ball. Ravens had a chance.
Ravens beat them by a point in Baltimore, 35-34.
Game of the year.
Steelers beat them by a touchdown in the first matchup, 44-38. So, and again, I'm not blaming Joe Burr. Let me be clear. The defense is the problem. Those games I all mentioned, except for the Patriots, what are we talking about there? 38 points allowed, 41 points allowed, 35 points allowed, 34 points allowed, 44 points allowed. It's not this game. If you had a defense beyond Trey Hendrickson, you're in the goddamn playoffs. Period, point blank, end of story.
It's why the great Lou Marumo lost his job as a coordinator. As great as he was for 6 years, most of the 6 years.
Yeah, well,
Ryan Different.
of all the franchises to not understand the Marvin Lewis defense of they would have been much worse without him potentially.
True.
I'm
not saying I agree with it necessarily, but that's why they missed the playoffs.
That was more for the audience at home that I mentioned that, sir.
No, right. And I agree with you. I agree with you, and I will see how I'm going to bring him back, but at the same time, that's
we spent way too much time on the goddamn Bengals. Shouts to Mikey Byrne.
Yeah, but it's the Bengals. It's Joe Burrow. It's an interesting team. Come on.
Joey Burrow.
All right, let's stay in Ohio, Kyle. Cleveland Browns 3-14.
I mean, just F on general principle.
Yeah, I'm with you on F. What are you gonna do with Deshaun Watson, man? I mean, I know you're structured.
What the fuck can you do with Deshaun Watson? Now,
go ahead.
When you're cheering for your guy to be injured, you're fucked. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the F stands for. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So if you're hoping Deshaun Watson is hurt so you can reduce his fiscal impact on your salary cap, I don't have to go past that sentence. F.
Okay, so let me unpack this a little bit because this actually impacts me, the Giants fan. Yes, I'm a Giants fan.
This is me trying to move on from something, but this is your show.
No.
You can linger on a tragedy all you want.
No. This is the Browns.
Linger on a tragedy. I said what the fuck I said.
So the Browns 3-14, number 2 pick in the draft.
Sure.
We know Deshaun Watson, and yes, they did restructure the contract a little bit 2 weeks ago. I don't know what that means.
Oh no, the Titans are number 1 in the draft for the upcoming.
No, that's what I said. Number two. That's what I said.
Yeah, got you. Oh, okay, got you. Carry on.
They clearly need a quarterback, right? The Browns, right? Or do they still go quarterback? Are they going to go quarterback in the draft this high?
Well, here's the problem. Do they need a quarterback? Yes. The chances are, if you believe, and it's lying season, so believe what you want to believe. I don't think the Titans are going to get Shedeur Sanders. I don't know that they think that is a fit. Also, considering they now have a coaching vacancy, it's okay for those who want to read the tea leaves and think that it's going to be a Sanders takeover in Nashville. You can speculate on that all you want. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Which means then inevitably they'll pick Cam Ward, which means then the next pick for the Browns, if they're going for quarterback, has to be Shedeur Sanders at that spot.
Will they do that?
I don't think that happens either. Excuse me. So,
go ahead.
So all of that to say, yeah, they need a quarterback, but I'm not necessarily sure they do it with their number 2 overall pick. Perhaps they trade back and go for another guy that they want to build and develop. They keep Winston in the building, and
could do worse.
Yeah, maybe Watson's a good teacher. I don't know. At least a good teacher of quarterback sports, not ethics, but
Yeah. So, and I'm asking that because the Giants are number 3, and we need a quarterback, and I know Shedeur's stock isn't as high as I thought it would be.
Shedeur's not going to New York,
right? So Travis Hunter number 2.
I can't rule that out, which will piss off a lot of Jaguar fans. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, they're what 4? They're 4, right? Oh, 5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very interesting draft process.
By the way, don't be surprised if the Jaguars trade back. Anyways.
All right, let's go to the next team here. Dallas Cowboys 7-10.
D.
Mm-hmm.
We knew they were going to be a mess. I did not expect it to be this fucking bad. Okay.
Yeah.
The moment I knew it was over, forget about the whole thing where they decided to pay Dak Prescott on Sunday while people are focused on actual football rather than the damn boardroom. The moment I knew it was going to go wrong was when they obviously went back for Ezekiel Elliott. They're a franchise that's in trouble. They're going to be there for a while. They had a great offensive line, and they did nothing to roll them over, so to speak. Like, for all the trash we talked about on the Steelers in failing to have an exit strategy on Ben Roethlisberger, imagine doing that at 5 positions simultaneously. That's what the Cowboys did with their offensive line. So I'll leave that at that.
Yeah, I went D-. And And I think
How appropriate! It's Big D for the Cowboys. Hey!
Right, and yeah, exactly. And to me, this is just this is the ineptitude with Jerry Jones, because their issue now. Granted, like obviously Dak gets hurt, that they go off the rails, but they were issues even before Dak got hurt. So the issue comes down to like, okay, to me honestly, you signed Derrick Henry, and so many problems are solved immediately, at least in the onset. Like
I think Derrick Henry is
running
just
game.
patchwork, though. This team would still struggle with Derrick Henry in the building. Let's
But
not get stupid here.
Maybe, but I would argue they'd be at least sitting at 10-7 for the 7-10.
No.
The run game was so fucking bad.
No.
It was so Dak reliant in the first half of the year.
No, the defense also fell apart too.
Yeah, a little bit.
That part.
Yeah. The defense,
so you can't be a successful running team without a solid defense. Now, could Derrick Henry gotten that lift? Maybe.
Well,
but there were a number of defensive injuries too. So how much can Derrick Henry really help?
But with Derrick Henry, you can control the exposure to the defense also too by clock management, all that good stuff. Which what Dak is always benefited from anyway. Right. Sure. So that it starts to bleed a little bit there. I'm not saying make the playoffs with Derrick Henry, but you're not 7-10 bad. You're probably at the very least 9-8, 10-7 in my opinion.
I don't think so. I don't think Derrick Henry is worth 3 games to the Dallas Cowboys. I think you're giving them too much credit.
Okay.
Listen, and it's not Jerry Jones's fault. It's the GM's fault. Oh, wait.
Is there any shot?
No.
What do you want to say?
No, go ahead. I'm saying I'm predicting your question. Look, ask the question. Let's see if I was right.
No. Is there any shot, given the market so fucking dry, right? This offseason, that they even entertain the thought of trading Dak Prescott?
No. Well, rephrase. They'll entertain it. Ain't nobody picking that fucking contract up. Not with him.
Yeah, I agree with that part. But the market.
So the answer is still no. Exactly.
Because when the biggest name in the market is going to be probably Sam Darnold, it's a pretty dry market.
I don't think Minnesota lets him go.
We'll get that later on, obviously, when they get eliminated.
More on that later.
Yeah, let's go. All right. The Colts 8-9.
B. And let me explain why.
Mm-hmm.
I know they didn't look great throughout the year, obviously. I expected the issues they had with Anthony Richardson, right? AR was going to be injured or whatever. Now, granted, I did not have his psyche among the injuries in question.
Yeah, oh my God.
He also had physical issues there too as well, some of the injuries he took. The immortal Joe Flacco wasn't going to save them. I said all of these things. I predicted the Jags. I think I predicted the Jags sweeping them, actually. That part I obviously got wrong, but it took overtime to establish it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But against McCorkle Jones, too, by the fucking way. This is a I'm not roasting them because my expectations were lower. I thought they were actually in bigger trouble. For them to exceed expectation, I have to do above a C. I'll give them a B- is what I'll say. They weren't getting a fucking A, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
I'm at a C. Satisfactory year.
I'm not mad at it.
Look, they were frisky all year long. They were in the hunt up until the last 2 weeks of the playoff spot.
A frisky cold?
Right. Frisky cold, yeah.
Don't look that up on Urban Dictionary. That sounds dangerous.
And then they lose to the Giants in week 17. Like, come on, man. What are you doing? Come on.
I think that's what kept them from getting a B from you. I get it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But I think there's pieces there. I think the question is going to be, look, they have to see us through another year with AR-15.
Do they?
The question, I mean, do they have the cap room to sign another quarterback? Do you bring another? I mean, do you bring Flacco back for another year in the room? I mean,
the point is the position's an issue, right? Still,
it is an issue. It's certainly in flux. I'll give you that.
That's an issue. And if your quarterback position's in flux, you have a fucking problem in the NFL.
Right. So
in any level of football, let's be honest.
There's definitely a benefit of bringing in a veteran guy to hold the fort down like Flacco did in spots.
Maybe they'll get Brock Purdy when the Niners don't sign him extended full anyway.
Yeah. But they showed moments this year that if Richardson can even stay healthy and get it right, they could be a team to mess with in the again, we talk about power vacuums in this podcast.
The AFC South has
there's
been one for some time.
There's a potential one. Texans.
No. What? Who else is taking charge of that division? There is a power vacuum in the AFC South, period. And the Titans are sneaking out of a shit division.
You think the future's good?
For the division? No.
Okay. So so Houston by default, like it's
That's
all
why it's a
along.
power vacuum, by the way, is
No,
because there is no.
Right, correct.
For those at home.
But I do think Houston come back to earth this year, and we'll cover them probably next week when they lose to the Chargers.
Oh, look at this.
I already said a lot of
spoilers, bitches.
They already know that from last night's fucking podcast with Zach. They already know that. Now if they don't lose, then obviously I have to eat crow. But
again,
there is still an opening. If what we saw Houston is a sign things come, Indy improves, then maybe Indy and Houston have a little bit of a battle coming up next year. Who knows? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but
I think that's the only logical scenario where this division becomes a 2-team race. I'll agree with that.
Right. So anyway, the Jaguars. Oh well, there we go. 4-13.
F.
Yeah, me too.
Next.
Yep. Kyle, riddle me this, Kyle.
Yeah.
So obviously they fired Doug Peterson, which again we saw that coming back in October. Anybody would have even Steve Wonder.
I really think they should have done it on the bye week, which is here's the thing. People are like, oh, Black Friday or Black Monday was quiet. Yeah, it's because so many teams fired their fucking coach in the middle of the season.
Yep. These are done in Chicago a long time ago and New Orleans a long time ago.
And your East Rutherford Jets there too.
Salah is right. But not Trent Baalke though. You don't fire Trent Baalke?
I will say to you what I've said to others, and the first among them, our friend, the General Mike Patton, when he tagged me, my friends Jamal St. Cyr, Travis D. Holmes, of course, my co-host at the Duval Dive, and T. Wiggs of Locked On Jaguars. I'm insulted. You think I might understand that? I'm insulted. You think I can give you an answer to that foolishness? Travis D. Holmes and I on the Duval Dive are still actively trying to perform therapy to lighten the mental load of the Duval Devout. We don't fucking know. Nobody seems to.
And isn't it something I heard about, like how like the next coach reports to Shad Khan?
Well, and that's how it's set up now. The way the Jags are set up is the GM reports to Khan, the head coach reports to Khan. What's insert Star Trek joke here. I get it. What was that, EJ?
Then, in the words of Office Space, what is it you do here, Trent Baalke?
Well, he's the one that handles the money and deals with the contracts, whereas the coach deals with the on-field stuff and gets the most out of the groceries that Trent Baalke buys. Now, one could say that the BTJ draft pick was more on Peterson than it was on Baalke. That's what's being alleged out there due to certain clips that are being put out there on the internet. How much you believe those or not is a separate conversation. But that's the mark of that's the line of demarcation is Baalke handles the contracts and Peterson, or the head coach, handles the on-field performance side. Again, it's really crude. I'm simplifying it because I obviously don't know every single solitary detail, but that's what it boils down to. Which, by the way, if Baalke is used to that kind of power, now you understand why he and Harbaugh had the falling out. Yeah. Who won that divorce, by the way?
Harbaugh.
Duh. That was more of a rhetorical question, but I appreciate the participation.
No, so, I mean, I've been saying on this podcast the last year now that Jim Harbaugh is a top 3 football coach the last 10 years, regardless of college or pros.
But to take it back to the Jags too, on top of that, on top of the injuries, on top of Ryan Nielsen just being out of his gourd with his rotation strategy to keep top guys on defense off the field on third down just because of your rotation. Just there's so much asinine and they're so predictable. Shad Khan said it himself. Its main target is to achieve unpredictability, which, by the way, don't be surprised to see Ryan Nielsen by the wayside, because the hot topic really out there is who is Robert Saleh going to be a coordinator for on defense?
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go to Vegas. The Raiders, 4-13. Yeah.
You did this to yourself. You didn't get a real quarterback. That's where it starts and ends.
I went D-, but yeah, I had the same.
And the one reason you did it is because of Brock Bowers. I get it.
That's part of it. And also the fact that we kind of saw this coming because we knew that roster was not good. My
But that's the
question was,
thing. If they made so many mistakes that we knew they were going to be ass, then you get an F.
my question was going to be, and I remember asking you this back in August.
Yeah.
Are they going to give AP the time to set the culture? And Claire didn't do that because they fired him like fucking 2 days ago. What's your thoughts on that for the record?
It had to happen. If you're truly trying, you see, here's what it is. They couldn't find I think they didn't see a guy out there that they wanted, so they gave AP a shot. And who knows, maybe they knew they had the roster they didn't want, so they made him a Dave Cullen in Houston kind of sacrificial lamb. Look, we made a minority hire. You got to like us, you know. I'm not going to rule out the PR aspect, especially when they're out there out west.
So you make an argument then. So the optics are bad.
Yeah, you could argue that. But, I mean, Christ, the optics are bad, but there's so many bad optics. Who gives a shit? Like, there's so many bad optics. I don't think anybody's focused on the social justice aspect of it.
But did he lose the team? There's a question. Did he do anything that did he lose the team?
You have to think so. Devontae Adams left on a whim. Max Crosby's talking about leaving.
They don't have a fucking quarterback. Aiden Connell's your answer. I'm not the jackass that paid $30 million to Jimmy Garoppolo 2 years ago. I mean,
yeah, that's why the players want to leave, and it may not be Pierce's fault that he lost the locker room, but it's lost, and you need a new voice.
That I agree with. Are you buying these Shador Dion combo Raiders rumors?
Yeah.
You buying into
Shit,
that?
I'd signed off on that. I made that declaration well before it was cool.
Okay.
I'm a hipster on that topic, baby. Student of the Game podcast.
All right, let's get local
Huddle Up podcast, frankly, too.
Let's get local.
And probably this show, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
The Dolphins, 8-9.
C-. I picked this to be an 11-win team. What's stopping them from getting a D is making that surge the way they did. But they're still getting penalized for their complete and total inability to build any defense and to do anything to actually protect Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I went C. I'm actually leaning C- also because what saves them from going lower is the fact that
is the stretch at the end.
Well, right, that, but then Tua missed what, 5 games?
6, I think it was.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
Somewhere. In my point, if it's even 6, he plays even half those games, and we saw when Tua's gone that for all the criticism we give Tua, and rightly so for the record,
rightly so,
right? They apropos, he's still needing that offense. Like they felt a cliff when he was gone for those 6 weeks. That offense fell off a fucking.
But
cliff.
Remind me who the alternative was: Skylar Thompson,
and then Tyler Huntley, who didn't play well.
Huntley thing was confusing. I have to be honest. But I think that also exposes how good an O-line the Ravens had at the time he was there.
True, that's a good point. And the thing is, like, any quarterback is sitting there with those weapons? Not really, not really.
Protection's important.
True.
Let me ask you this: Do you think Michael Penix could be successful in that situation?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, well there you go. I said a rookie quarterback could come in and handle that. That's everybody else's point.
Right. If Tua plays even half those games he missed, given where
you get your 11 wins.
Dude, they're in the playoffs. Yeah, because look, they're 8-9. They were literally a tiebreaker. Like if obviously KC would
they would lose the tiebreak because I think the Bills would still sweep them.
Yeah, because there were a couple losses actually that they that with division. Definitely that's not a question. Looking how Josh Allen.
Okay, but so making the playoffs means those 7. Okay,
right. So like, look, there's a couple losses this year. They the Indy game without Tua that they still could have won, but the quarterback play was just fucking bad.
Yeah, they would have won against.
That's 9 wins are there. That's 9 wins are there, and then a couple of losses they had. The Tennessee lost on Monday Night Football with no quarterback play. Again, they would have won that game. So with Tua.
I forgot about that trash.
Yeah, there you go. So you have those standouts there for me. That Tua's there. They're winning.
And I'm glad I graded them harshly as I did.
Right. So I went C-. Honestly, I'll go C- as well with you. So all right. The Patriots 4-13.
F.
Wow, that's harsh.
Why?
That's harsh.
You went with Gerard Mayo, who wasn't ready to do the job.
Right.
You left them out to sea. By the way, it's Bob Kraft that's getting this F. The rest of the team is just victims, okay? You went and drafted an ACC quarterback who even a dumbass like me, who's merely a student of the game, knows for a fact that Drake May is out of an ACC system that is ass football and will not handle the NFL well. How many L's does it take to spell Sam Howell? Only 2, but he had more than that, didn't he? So I just needed a bell for that one. So at day's end, there's that and so much more. That is just proof that building this roster was done horribly. And if you want to blame Bill's departure for leaving you a dumpster fire at the grocery store, cool. But yeah, no, it's an F for the pass.
Wow, you're harsh.
I'm right.
I went C minus.
Well, see, you're a Patriots fan, so you have a little bit of bias.
I knew that was coming. Why did I say that? So
Also
here's a
what you
positive.
said.
Here's a positive for the Patriots. Drake May, who you don't like, did show some signs of being a capable quarterback.
They're going to move off Drake May if they can find a good replacement. That's the problem.
I thought he was decent this year.
If they had last year's, you're the problem. Well, then you're wrong. Period. If you had last year's,
No, you're wrong. You're out of line.
You can't handle the truth. No, if they had a quarterback class like last year coming out this year, they would move off Drake May.
The thing for me is that they have no talent there whatsoever on either side of the ball. There's nothing that stands out to me, honestly.
That's my
that
point.
Right. But for him to do what he did this year, given the lack of talent, I thought was impressive.
Please do me a favor and remember what division they're in.
AFC East, I get that. I get all that. I'm just saying though, and look, again, maybe a little too positive Patriots. They were competitive this year in moments. They were my worst team in football this year. They were my bottom of the barrel. And
but you're okay. Wait, they were your bottom of the barrel, but me giving them an F is harsh. Make it make sense, Ernest Christian.
But it's the way it looks though too. Also, like they were competitive in the moment. They almost beat Buffalo, and that doesn't count.
Okay, they beat Buffalo in week 18.
No. But they almost beat them 2 weeks ago before that too. When a game the Buffalo needed at the time.
Okay, great. So they were close in a game. That's your main defense. Cool.
No, not the
lost to the Jets 24-3. Lost to they did beat the Jets later in the season though.
Yeah,
lost to the Jags 32-16. Lost to the they would have been without Tua. 15-10. Lost to the Dolphins without Tua. See. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Oh, lost to the Colts. You mentioned that.
Wait, they lost the Colts? Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, you did not. You didn't. You mentioned the Colts lost with the Dolphins, but the Patriots did it too, 25-24.
Fuck it, F. Fuck it. I'm joking. No, okay, you know what? I'll go D. I'm not going F, though.
You would be excited about going D, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would, especially New England. No, but...
Oh, my God. I guess you don't like clam chowder. Moving on.
New England clam chowder. No, but they were competitive in moments this year. And Drake May... In my opinion, Drake May showed some signs. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, will he be a future NFL quarterback in 5 years? I don't know. That's still a question.
You know what you sound like? You sound like someone talking about your Commanders defending Sam Howell his rookie year. That's what you sound like.
All right, moving on. Whatever. Tell me how many else? Okay, cool. All right.
If you make it Samuel Howell, it's closer. I'll put it that way. Anyways.
How's it taste, mother? I'm just kidding. Samuel. New Orleans Saints, 5-12. My wife's Saints.
I know you're going to take a giant dump on them, and I'm not mad at you for it.
Yep.
But they are who we thought they were. I think you're more bitter at the Saints about what the media thought than you're actually mad at the Saints. And you know how I can relate? I'm guilty of that shit too. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go C- here.
Wow. Wow.
I can't go full F. No, you know what? I'll give them a D. Because there are a lot of self-inflicted wounds here. They did not address enough issues. They probably should have moved off of David Carr and didn't. And in their defense, in a division that
By the
got
way,
a little better.
it's
What's that?
Derek Carr, not David Carr. You keep every year
Oh,
you do
thank
this
you. Did
shit.
I say
Every
David?
year you do this, dude. Every year.
Maybe because I just see how often he gets sacked.
But to be fair though, I'm the same way with the Harbaughs. I always told
Jim and
say
John,
Jim is
yeah.
John Jim, right, all the time.
And it's only on this show I do that. But anyway.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying.
Derek Carr, they should have moved off of him, I feel like. But there's so many other issues, like continuing to think that Alvin Kamara is a main threat in this league, and he's not anymore.
He's a
letting the defense fall apart. They even acknowledge they need to move on. That's why they moved Marshawn Lattimore.
They need to trade him. They need to trade Kamara. He could probably get you probably get something back for him, like
not
third
really.
rounders, fourth rounders, maybe. Yeah.
Not at that age. Not at the running back position.
How old is he now? Like 29.
You're gonna make me look it up, aren't you?
No. That doesn't matter.
But
doesn't matter.
I mean, he's been in the league for a while. I think that's undeniable. So yeah, I'll go with a D.
So I was an F, but you taught me into D- at least.
Okay.
They did the right thing in firing Dennis Allen. That was the right
move.
So I'll give them that. They acknowledged the problem early. By the way, guys, remember when the Saints were 2-0 and I thought, oh my God, 2-0 and 90-something points in 2 weeks. Oh my God.
Don't say everybody. We didn't think that on this show.
And you and I said that. And then you gave we did our first Contender Pretender episode of the year. And I said Pretender. And I said, I gotta see more. I'm not believing this shit.
We said Pretender. Sir.
And after that, they proceeded to lose like 7 games in a row.
Was it 1, 2, 3,
said what I said.
4, 5,
I
6,
said what I
7
said.
games? Yeah,
yes,
7 games.
There you go. So I said what I said. Okay, thank you.
Did you say what you said there, Ernest Christian?
So
I thought I'd ask. Like, by the way, as of July 25th this year, Alvin Kamara turns 30.
Wow.
So going into the next season, he is 30.
Which means it's pretty much that is pretty much, if you're going to trade him now.
No, you're not going to get value for him now, is what I'm telling you.
Do you think he'll get at least a 6th rounder, 7th rounder?
Sure.
Rounders? Okay. Then
yeah,
do
6 or 7th rounder.
Do that.
Okay.
Do that.
Oh,
do that.
Damn. Okay.
Do that. Get rid of that. Get assets back for him. Draft picks matter for you. You're 5-12. You suck. Okay. You're not as good as you were in 2-0. Stop. Okay. Cut the shit. Okay. Here we go. It's time. The New York Football Giants.
F. Next.
Fucking 3-14. Go.
And why F.
I'm here too also.
F.
Okay. So let's sit down with this question, because I have a chance to talk to you in a couple of weeks actually, but since the
F.
Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, was it the right move to bring him back?
No, I don't think so. I think you need a new voice, regardless of how you feel about Brian Daboll and all of that. If you're going to go true rebuild, then you need to do it. You need to move off of everything. You've acknowledged you're going to move off the quarterback, all of that. And I get it. Daboll was forced into a quarterback that he didn't want. Then he should have pounded the table harder to keep Saquon. But no, they got to go. They got to go. Let somebody else hire Brian Daboll. If Daboll came to Jacksonville, I wouldn't hate it, but it would not be my favorite pick. But yeah, no.
So you already know how I feel about the situation. I was okay with them retaining him for mainly because number one, I'm tired of fucking changing coaches every 2-3 years. I'm just done with that. Number two, and I think this is what saved their job, is the fact that it was John Mara that chose Daniel Jones. Sometimes the errors you make affect, the errors you make 2 years beforehand are what affects what is the present day. And that error of extending Daniel Jones to $40 million a year, which made the team decide, okay, we're kind of cost cutting here, and we want to pay Saquon Barkley $2 million more, which you should have done only because he's special. I understand the logic what they were saying, running backs position, all that stuff. But
I don't. But go ahead.
But it's still stupid. But that's
I understand the logic, but it's still stupid.
Right.
Interesting statement.
Well, most teams will do that. They don't want to pay running backs that kind of money, and I get that. Except this is Saquon Barkley.
A, B, not all teams do that because other teams move off of quarterbacks. Other teams make a draft pick when the draft class for the quarterback position is nuts.
I think John Morris is obsessed with Daniel Jones. That's all. I thought
Oh.
he saw the potential
Hashtag
there.
him problem.
Yeah. So that I think that saved them.
Like, understand, I don't think this is true, by the way, necessarily, but there are many people claiming that the retention of Daniel Jones is racially motivated. It's such a bad decision, you can't rule it out as the problem.
No, and I even said as far back as 2-3 years ago that, okay, I get it, but do you have to get $4 billion right now? Can you wait another year? Has he shown you even in the 1 year, Daboll's rookie, his first year as coach, where he won coach of the year, which he deserved for the record. Go fuck yourself.
No, he did not.
Shut up. That okay, and Kyle, here's the thing too. Also, it's on record. I said this in real time that good year, still not sold, and he's the future. And I was saying that in real time.
This does not make you unique, but go ahead.
No, right, but a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you gotta lock him up." I understand why they did it. You want to get ahead of the market in case he does have another great year. Then you got to pay him $56 million a year. I get that, but again, you take that chance.
There was no evidence to support that would happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what? Here's the thing. Fuck it. Just take that risk then, because you know why? Because you know what? If you have another great year, then yeah, so be it. But why tie up your salary when you don't even know this guy really is that good? So that's what I had a problem with. That being said, that saved their jobs more than anything else. Here's my question though.
If you think so,
they need a quarterback because clearly ain't gonna be Drew Lock. Clearly ain't gonna be Tommy DeVito. Jones is gone. Dry market. They're the third pick. They could hypothetically, if one of those guys fall down the cracks, get either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, which may not happen. You're saying it won't happen. If they don't, what's the next move?
Okay, so they're not getting Cam Ward because the Titans are going to snatch him up. I'm convinced.
Right. Which really sucks.
For any Giants fans that are actually out there.
Me. Hi, it's me.
When would you start now? You are the problem. That's sure. That's for sure. Anyways,
Kyle,
deal with it, Swifty. Okay. So, and you want to brag about things on the record before it was cool and all this. You aren't unique in your, I'm not convinced yet take. Nobody was. Me included, probably on the fucking show in question. What is unique is me going out there and saying the other reason you move off of Jones now is because if you don't now, there will not be a well with which to replace him. And now what's the best you could do is what? Planning for Manning based on what we know about there, right? Because you're not going to endure for yours. That's not what the fuck's going to happen. I don't think.
Hell no.
You're not going to take you're not going to get a fresh start with Ole Miss quarterback Dart. That's not happening.
I was going to ask you that. Is that worth the risk? Three.
You're going to say no to Jalen Milroe.
So what do you do? So exactly. Here's your option.
You're fucked.
So here's the issue. So I mentioned earlier in the podcast that dry market in free agency potentially. Your headliner this year is going to be Sam Darnold, most likely, if he makes it to free agency, number one.
If they make a move for Darnold, which I won't rule out, it will take multiple firsts. 2 firsts and a second, I would imagine.
So you have Darnold. You can try to trade for J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota if they decide to go the Darnold route. You have Russell Wilson potentially in the market. Justin Fields potentially in the market. This is what I'm saying though. The market is dry. You have Russell Wilson or Justin Fields in the market. Who else? There's other quarterbacks that are.
I think Justin Fields would be retained as a backup.
Right. So there aren't many options. So what do the Giants do? Like, do you sign? I don't know.
And actually, because of that, the Giants may find themselves giving up more than 2 firsts and a second if they go the Darnold route.
And I think that's kind of a risk because Sam Darnold, even with Darnold be having a great year. What did I tell you? This is Sam Darnold's Mark Whippen. We don't know if he's this good.
Can you stop that?
Well, it's
apropos. It's not even a great analogy.
It is a great analogy. What are we talking about, bro? Now, it only works really if they win a Super Bowl this year, which is clearly I don't know if they're going to win that, but
No, they're not. Okay, clearly they aren't.
More on that later. We'll see.
Later.
So, but the Giants are fucked. They would hope a Shador or Cam Ward falls through the cracks, which won't happen.
The one thing that New York does have working for them is that I think the Sanders want a big market. I don't think Mara wants that noise, but he may not have a choice.
Mara might need to just shut the fuck up and just own a team, okay? Because the way you've done things the last 10, 15 years has not worked.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Maybe he gets that desperate.
Okay, you're not Jerry Jones, and that's a good thing because I want to be Jerry Jones. I want you to own the team.
Or maybe he is, and you just haven't realized it yet.
I tell you what, the last year or two, it's the most I've seen his face in public in this way.
He's had a lot to answer
37 years of being a fan. I'll say that much. So,
anyways,
just stay in the background, buddy. All right, stay in New York. The Jets. Go.
By the way, how's that playoff team doing, bitch?
Yeah, I fucked that up early, bro. In fact, all three.
I'm always right, Kyle. I'm
three,
right more often than you are.
By the way,
you talked about eating crow. Let me fly some in via jet. Boom!
I guess the question is this:
how dumb are you? That's the question.
Yes, that's part of it too. Also, we can create multiple podcasts talking about how dumb I am.
Hey, listen, at least you didn't pick the Browns to make the playoffs at one point.
Oh wait! God damn, dude! I got the entire AFC wrong for the record. I think.
And listen, I took a swing with the Jags just because I didn't know what they are, and I didn't know who to put as the seventh team anyway, and I got that wrong, obviously.
Right. Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. To me, if he plays football again, he's
dragging whatever franchise he plays for down. Period.
Right. If he plays football again, this is really his only option. I imagine. I don't think any team's going to touch him.
Somewhat like the Raiders might be. Wouldn't that be ironic? The Ravens may be desperate enough, and they bring him and Devontae Adams both back. Boy, what a fucking storyline, huh?
Oh my god.
I can make an argument that the Patriots would be that desperate, and if Belichick were still coaching and petty as shit, that is something he would do. He's not. We don't know who the coach is. I don't think any new coach would want to bring in Aaron Charles Rodgers. That's not a thing. Would the Titans be that desperate for a one-year rental if they don't draft the quarterback? That's interesting. Well, I think they still got Purdy one more year, I think. But Aaron Charles Rodgers as a 49er for a single-year rental is a fascinating concept. Yeah. If wherever he is, it's going to have the feel of like a Rodney Peete in Carolina back when the franchise first started.
Kids,
which, by the way, did not last because the motherfucker got hurt in the first game. Sound familiar?
Yep.
So,
Rodney Peete. What a name from yesteryear. Rodney Peete was actually part of that 12-win Lions team. He got hurt, I think, week 3, and then Eric Kramer took over, and they won 12 games. Went to the NFC title game and lost to the Washington Redskins.
Kramer's my dude.
Which, by the way, Mark Rippon, because won that game. And
nice full circle. I like
that. It's cool. Yeah.
But Eric Kramer got on my radar from when he took the Bears to the playoffs that year.
Yeah,
they got trounced by the Niners, but that's okay.
He got that contract in Chicago as a result of the success in Detroit. So, anyway, back to present football. Am I crazy thinking that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back next year?
You're not crazy because we're back to how dry the market is. And what the hell are the Jets going to actually fucking do here?
They're not in the position to get a quarterback of any caliber, number one.
Yep.
So Rodgers, by default, is the best option. And if you look at his numbers, too, also, he actually had when you consider what disaster it was not a bad year by the numbers. It's just that we expect much more in win totals, in culture setting from that guy, and you didn't get that.
And the culture thing is the issue. Listen,
right.
Complain what you want about Russell Carrington Wilson being detached and distant and corporate and cheesy and all that. Rodgers is an asshole in that situation. Again, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know if he's generally an asshole or not, but he's perceived that way.
He's an asshole's asshole. He's an asshole's
asshole. And he's certainly a tax on your locker room. way more than anything Russell Carrington Wilson is. So,
by the way, are you cold? Are you cold up there, man? It's 40-something degrees up in Orlando. 44 down here in Palm Beach.
yeah, it's cold. Next question.
I'm fucking freezing. I'm here in my studio. It's freezing in here, dude.
Get a jacket. Yep. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. How about yeah? No, I'm good. I'm good. All right. Hold on. I lost my my team here. Oh, here we go. Your Niners. End of the year 6-11.
Incomplete. How much of that roster was decimated by injury? Yeah, first of all, and that was even before they lost league MVP. If anybody was not a coward, Trent Williams. But out the gate, losing Chris McCaffrey. The O-line in general wasn't great. The defense suffered their share of issues. Fred Warner was being asked to save the team way too much. The whole scenario with the receivers,
Ayuk and Debo,
with Ayuk, he basically took himself out of contention by holding out the way that he did. He was just not the same player this year. Debo Samuel had moments. Obviously, did pretty well season wise, but had struggles. They were just so broken on the roster, and their age was exposed, like Janet Jackson in a halftime show.
Yeah, I feel the incomplete thing. I went C-.
Yeah, you're nice.
Because, again, you have the bodies. We're not having this conversation.
You couldn't do higher than C because of the expectation. And you mentioned you have the bodies. Well, no, apparently you fucking don't because they're hurt.
Yeah. I will say Brock Purdy did show me some promise, though, in terms of doing more with less, because he had no choice.
I don't agree.
He had a bad year?
Yes. I think he showed more crack in pressure in late moments where he had to be the guy to win it. Because keep in mind, the Niners, a dude that got shot going into the season was a dude who was your top weapon at one point.
He played well this year, actually.
Yeah, he did wonderful. Pearsall was great. I'm not knocking that. Objectively, from a football perspective, him stepping up and doing what he did was awesome.
So let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation right now. Then this is why I love doing these letter grades, because we can assess the future of his team going forward into the offseason. Brock Purdy, he's due a contract. Now they don't have to sign him right now. They can wait another year.
They need to.
But I mean, the thing is, Purdy does have an advantage. The market being dry gives him an advantage, right?
Which is why you don't go to the table this year.
Just let it ride.
You have to. You have to.
Is he a free agent next summer?
I think so.
Okay. Because I don't know the lay of the land for the draft, possible prospects and stuff, and
right.
certainly free agency, of course. But a lot of the big name guys are locked up for at least 2-3 years. I don't see the market improving much better. So Brock Purdy can still fall into a minimal of $30-40 million a year contract. The Niners might want to. The Niners might want to lock him up just to have the guy in tow. But at the same, here's where the Niners are a little bit different from most teams. Kyle Shanahan has more than proven that I could put anybody in that spot, and then as long as we're healthy, we can still get 10+ wins a year out of them. And
isn't that fascinating?
So that actually might work to the Niners' favor in a sense.
That's my point.
Bitch, we're gonna let this ride. I don't care. We're letting it ride. And I think, to be honest with you, the Niners have shown discipline enough to say we're going to do that, and I think they're going to let it ride.
This is what a good GM does, and people can whine and bitch about the Trey Lance trade all they want.
In hindsight, it looks phenomenal. We mean trading him to Dallas or trading up to get him?
I mean to get him, of course.
Oh, yeah, but that was, I mean, again,
you take the real lesson there is how willing they were to move off him.
Yeah, they acknowledged a mistake quickly and moved on.
And Lance asked for the trade reportedly, which from the Niners' perspective made it look easy. Okay, that's how you feel. Cool. If you don't want to be here, you're obviously not going to help the squad.
Great optics. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody won in that scenario by capitulating,
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
all that. I'll agree with that.
absolutely.
Where I it Brock Purdy is an emotional prospect. Your pardon expression. I feel like you keep Brock because he deserves to be rewarded, but you can't afford to do that at the risk of the franchise.
Especially given where
Okay.
right now the contracts you have now, the amount of injuries, and you got to retool the team again. They're getting a little older in some spots. Yeah, the
So, and
prudent
yes, and Brock, like we said, Brock is a free agent next year. His play will either give him more evidence to earn maybe. I think if anything, if they do anything, they're going to franchise it. Which again, that number is so huge, maybe they won't. It's a deterrent.
it's a 1-year franchise, not multiple. So I mean,
Well, I understand that. That's the reason why you would consider it as 1 year, but that's still a huge number. But the punchline's this. I feel like, and the Niners have shown you, by the way, that they kind of think this is the case. They have every reason to believe that next year Brock Purdy will play and possibly play himself out of contract contention like that to get that $40 million number, right? I think the ideal thing, air quotes, if you were to extend him right now, is to give him maybe a Baker Mayfield style.
I was just going to say that. $30 million a year.
But his agent isn't going to bite on that.
No.
So
he can't, and he can't because the sell be, well, no offense, he took it to the Super Bowl. That's a sell. It's an agent.
Did he do it, or did that team?
It doesn't matter. He was still the quarterback.
Did he do it?
We know the answer to that question. As people who else escape, we get that. But he can say, "Well, I was a quarterback of a Super Bowl team." So
and
again,
then the franchise will say, "Then please sell your wares elsewhere." That's what I'm telling you.
Well, right, and my thing is too, the Niners are disciplined enough to say that and to hold it out. So the Niners have all the leverage here. To be honest with you,
let's not go that far.
Most of the leverage, then I won't say all of it, but maybe most.
I think they're perfectly even keeled. This is a good faith negotiation in my opinion.
But because of that coach and what he's done and what he's believed in and what he does, insert X quarterback, I'm okay. So
yeah,
that's all. That's all I'm saying. So.
The real answer is who. The real question is with whom do you replace him? Because now Darnold's not an option.
And again, dry market. Unless you bring in.
Also, all the more reason you table this because maybe the next year you have a more flooded market and have a little bit more leverage on your side as the franchise.
Unless you want to bring in Justin Fields. I don't know.
I don't think he's the right type of guy.
I agree with you, but I'm not saying guys who have experience and, I don't know.
We'll see.
All right. Next team here. Seattle Seahawks. Finish the year 10-7.
It sucks that they didn't win the division as a 10-win team, and it sucks that they're not in the playoffs as a 10-win team. But I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot in certain games to make that happen. I'll go B-. You won 10 games in a competitive division. The only way you could kick yourself in the foot is you failed to take advantage of the power vacuum, but who knew 11 wins would be what you needed, right? Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I went C+. So same idea. Because they were better than we thought I thought they'd be. A little better than I thought they'd be. Certainly flirting the playoffs.
Were they better, or did they just take advantage of a bad Niners team? That's what I think.
Yes. But there was also the caveat of the Rams if they were to stay healthy, which they weren't in the beginning part of the year.
Boy, they came back big, didn't they?
Yeah, wow. Sean McVay. Again, I know you're not a big McVay guy, but he talked about I'm
fine with him. I just listen. Again, the only problem I've ever had with Sean McVay is I never thought having lunch with a guy should make you an NFL coaching candidate. Okay.
Right. You talk about great coaching.
By the way, shouts to Scott Frost, who got a head coaching job at UCF.
That's right. We missed that
during the association.
No, McVay. You talk about great, and there were many this year. Great coaching performances this season. This was another in-season one. Navigating that waters without. I think Stafford missed a couple games here, maybe a game or two, but certainly Nakua and Cooper Kupp missed a chunk of games. and then they got healthy and they stormed back. I can credit for that, you know. So
Not to
yeah, but
mention, again, you never replace Aaron Charles Donald, but you can produce him in the aggregate. And to see them do that with this defense is a fantastic coaching
exactly
job as
that too.
well.
Also, that's a great point. Then Aaron Donald part, I forgot he was gone too. Also, so yeah,
Yeah,
but
well, and I make that point during the NFL awards show with Mikey the Burn Bernier.
what now my bad. Of course, we're talking about Seattle now. Geno Smith, I think when we're in his contract, you let it ride again one more time, I guess. Yeah, same thing with Brock. You let it ride again. Dry market. Geno's better than what you probably could get.
You explore it before you make any declarations, and who knows? Maybe they'll make big trades and mortgage some stuff to jump up for Cam Ward. I have no idea, but don't be surprised if the Seahawks believe in their current roster, which there's some reason to do that. Granted, I think they need to think about turning over their receiver core sooner than later because DK and company are aging.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. So, but C plus. I'm with you. Seattle, they got one more win. You know what game stand out for me? The Seahawks that probably made it cost them the Giants game.
Of course.
You go back to week 4. These games matter in the end of the day, man. I'm telling you, you win these games, you have to win, and there you go.
All it's right, not a must win, but boy, they can hurt you later.
Whew, yeah. All right, finally, last team here, Tennessee Titans, who finished the year 3-14, and they
F. A big mayonnaise jar full of F. F anybody who doesn't give them an F. I don't give an F about your effing point of view if you don't give them an F.
I gave them D- because they are where they should be. I thought they are where I thought they'd be.
Are you going? They are who we thought they were.
Correct. So I mean, yeah, I'm D-.
Understand? No. Here's the reason why you're wrong again.
Okay. Again?
Well, yeah, you've been wrong a lot on this show. Haven't you listened to you?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, and let me make my point as clear as I can. Okay. Here are things that happened with this Tennessee Titans team. Okay, they were involved in the lowest scoring game, second lowest. No, yeah, it was second lowest eventually because there was a 6-3 game out there at some point. It's the second lowest scoring game of the season. They are, in fact, 2 of the Jacksonville Jaguars' 4 wins and are at the bottom of a division that has the Jacksonville Jaguars in it. They revamped their offense entirely to accommodate the mayonnaise messiah and rebuilt their defense, and were still trash. They got outscored twice by McCorkle Jones. F.
All right, you can win. F it is. You sold it to me. And I'm picking the trap balls too. Safe to say that the Will Levis era is over, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Some idiot out there argued with me that the Will Levis experiment will not be over. Also, this same person at one point advocated for keeping Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. So that to show you this person's NFL knowledge.
There you go. So they will take Cam Ward, you think, right?
I believe they'll take Cam Ward, yes.
Okay. And it's the right move, in my opinion, for them. So
now the part where Cam Ward is going to struggle is that offensive line for Miami is